welcome to another episode of your favorite libertarian. Today we're going to be reviewing MDFI's low light handgun class. Let's get into it. In this review, I'll give you some tips. I'll show you my qualification target. We'll talk about the class itself, obviously. We'll go over the gear and wrap it up with final thoughts. Back to me. Tip number 1. Make sure that you wait to put on all your gear until after the safety briefing. This is maybe not a ton of extra weight, but it's extra weight. And the safety briefings are typically about an hour. So you could, if you wanted to, stand in a circle with everyone else in the class for an hour with all your gear on, not using the gear, just having it on you. I get that some people are really excited about being able to wear all the cool gear that they have and they never have a chance to wear it anywhere else. So they want to have it on as much as possible. I totally get that. Makes sense to me too. But if you don't want to fatigue yourself more than you need to, I would wait until after the safety briefing to put all that stuff on. Tip number 2, snacks. I recommend bringing protein bars. The ones that I bring, they're 20 grams of protein per bar. They don't taste horrible, and they also make it so that you have the energy, you have the protein to keep you going throughout the class, but it's not making you have to go to the bathroom in the woods. Tip number 3, dry fire. And this is one that's more to prepare you for the class and to make sure that you do a great job on the qualifier, but definitely dry fire. Dry fire is specifically going to help you in the dry qual, which is shooting a qualification drill at the beginning of any advanced level class in order to be allowed to take the class. This is the target, so you can go to their website, you can print this out, and it's a 8x10 piece of paper with a smaller rectangle inside. In order to pass or score advanced, you have to either get all of your shots within this or outside of it at certain distances. On the back, you have all the different drills that you have to do to be able to complete and pass or score advanced for the qual. So I recommend, if you are going to be taking an advanced level class or really any classes through MDFI, that you practice this qual. Not only to get the muscle memory down for dry fire with your weapon platform, but also to make sure that you have the muscle memory down for what you have to do for that qualification drill and the order at which you need to do it. Now, as promised, I'm going to show you my qualification target. Before I do though, let's first review what the qualifier is. The qualifier for handgun is all going to be from 5 yards away, and you have to do each drill within 6 seconds. So the first one, starting at a low ready, and I'll simulate the beep for you. Very technical. Beep. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 rounds. Next one is going to be from the holster. Beep. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think my voice cracked there. How about it's going through changes? The third one is going to be from a low ready. Beep. 1 round. Speed reload. 2 rounds. Boop, boop. And then the fourth is going to be low ready. Beep. 1 round. Emergency reload. 1 round. What I like about the qual is, especially what I like about it for advanced classes, we have to shoot it at the beginning of the class so that you know everyone that's at the class is proficient with a firearm, they're accurate with a firearm, and that's good to know going into a low light class. Now the qualification target. Here it is. So as you can see, I was able to get all of the rounds within the rectangle within the amount of time. One of the things that I did was it's a 6-second part time. So I set my part time for 4 seconds. So really pushing, really making sure that I'm doing everything as fast as possible and accurately, because I'm thinking from dry fire with recoil, I'm going to be a little bit slower. The thing that I did during the class was I told myself, slow down. You've got plenty of time. You can do this in 4 seconds. 6 seconds is going to seem like an eternity. So that's another thing that really helped me stay within this. I was very relaxed, took a deep breath before each one, and then with the beep, I drew really fast or I got it up on target really fast. And then when I got on target, I slowed down when I was pulling the trigger. So that helped a lot. For the reloads, what helped me for the reloads, that first shot, taking your time for the first shot, making sure you have it, and then reloading fast, but as soon as you got back on the gun, slowing down again. So all about gas pedal and brake. 12 out of 14 on this entire piece of paper is pass. 12 out of 14 in the rectangle is advanced, and I got 14 out of 14 in the rectangle, so I'm super advanced. That's not really anything to brag about, but I do like this as a data point so that I have an idea, not an exact science, but I have an idea if I did need to draw my handgun and shoot quickly, I'd have an idea of what my accuracy would be without having, practice shots ahead of time. In a real world situation, you're not going to be like, oh wait, let me warm up a little bit, let me take some shots, get my accuracy dialed in, and then we'll have a violent encounter. Now let's talk about the class itself. I always take as detailed a notes as I possibly can. Typically during the class, I don't have the ability to stop what I'm doing and write stuff down, but I do my best to remember everything that I learned in the class, and I try to remember that all in that order. And then that night, I'll try to write everything down, or the morning after, I'll try to write everything down in my notebook or on my phone. So I'll be reading from my notes a little bit, so forgive me for that if I look down at all, but I want to make sure that I cover all the different things that we went over in the class. Every MDFI class has a class motto. Low-light handgun's motto is positively identify your target. In this class, we went over rules of light use, handheld light techniques, one-handed shooting techniques, scanning with a handheld, scanning with a pistol light, lights and cover, pistol light activation, malfunctions in the dark. We also did a shooting from cover drill, which is really cool. And at the end of the class, we did a blind course, meaning we didn't know what we were going to be doing. Everyone was brought out individually, ran the course, and then we talked about what we thought of it at the end, what we learned, etc., which was super cool. Now for the portion all my gear junkies tuned in for, the gear. This is what I brought to the little handgun class. I'll talk about what I liked and what worked really well in the class and what didn't. But if you want a full review on this belt setup or this holster specifically, or these gloves, there's a lot of reviews that I've already done on those. So I'll do my best to link them in the description below and also have those be cards to click on at the end. Moving on. First and foremost, gotta have a hat. If you don't know why you need to have a hat, look at my pack list video for a 2-day low light class and you'll know why. Hat essential. Next is something I added right before the class, but I'm super glad I did, the Theorem switchback. This Theorem switchback is a ring that attaches to a flashlight. This is my EDC L2T, which I've had for a long time, but this ring is new. What's great about the ring is that you're able to do a lot of handheld light techniques like syringe grip. It also lets you easily deploy and quickly deploy this from your pocket or wherever you have it, because you put your finger through that ring and rip it out. If you have to do any type of handgun manipulation, you can quickly flick this out of the way, reload, fix malfunctions, whatever you need to do. You're still retaining your light, but you have your hands free to do what you need to do with both hands. And then when you want it back, you can just flick it back and get back to doing whatever techniques you're doing. So that's really cool. Plus, I mean, come on guys, you can do that with it. How cool is that? You can go, pros and cons. So those are all the pros. The cons to this Theorem switchback is that During the course of the class, I found myself, this is a gas pedal tail cap. So you press it a little bit for 5 lumens, then you press it all the way in for all the lumens. Doing that for 8 hours, your hand starts to shake a little bit, and you start to wonder, am I pressing this all the way in? Am I just doing 5 lumens? Am I doing it all the way? So having a clicky tail cap would be a lot better if you were having to hold a light on someone for a really long time. The problem with that is if you were to have a clicky tail cap, there isn't a clicky tail cap that Surefire makes that would allow you to still use a switchback, a Ethereum switchback on it. If I were to do the clicky tail cap, I'd have to get rid of this ring. Right now I'm keeping the ring on because it worked really well in the low light class, and it's really easy deployment, and it gives me a lot of options as far as the handheld techniques go. So I'm leaving it on for right now, but I am kind of debating on doing a clicky tail cap for everyday carry, but we'll see. I've got another last minute addition. This is also made by Ethereum. It is the XL Cell Vault. There's a little bit of literature on it right here if you want to take a look. But it allows you to carry 2 18650 batteries or 6 CR123As. This attaches to Molly or any belt. You can click it here, you flip it upside down, squeeze it, and then batteries come out. So this is nice because it's lightweight, doesn't take up a whole lot of space on your belt, and it gives you the ability to carry batteries. I did not run these gloves really at all for the low light classes. One of the reasons being I wanted to be able to very easily feel what I was doing in the dark. The other reason was when I'd have these gloves on, especially with my right hand, and I'd go to grip the handgun, I would get extra fabric and material over top, almost on the back of the slide. I didn't like that. It also messed with the grip angle. So I ended up ditching these and not really using these at all the whole class. Speed round. S-Tech Kiwi mag pouches. Did awesome. Retained well. You could draw them really fast. They also were great for re-indexing. Already talked about these. The Condor dump pouch worked really well. Not much can go wrong with a dump pouch. You could dump things in it. The EMT Ripaway Condor med pouch thing worked really well. I had it at an angle. You can do that because it's got Velcro on Velcro and you can pivot it, so that's great. Didn't have any issues with being able to clear this when it was on. I was able to take this off on the second day when I was running rifle and I had a chest rig and I had medical on my chest rig, so I wasn't weighing down the belt line. That was cool. Also, both nights I was able to hang a chem light from this strap. So I had my back chem light and I had my front chem light on this little carabiner here, so met all the visibility requirements for the low light class. Cool, moving on. This holster did really well. I was able to draw and reholster very easily. This nub helped a lot. Nice big nub, very instinctive and easy to make sure that I didn't have any hang-ups when drawing. And this held the light, so that was great. I'm going to slow down a little bit for the light portion. I have reviews on a lot of these things, so again, description, etc. The 507CX2 did amazing. Really glad I had this. You'll want to make sure that you turn it off of auto mode when you start doing low light stuff with a light and you're in the dark or low light situations. You want to put this to manual. Reasons why in the review on this and other reviews I've done. This light though, some pros and cons with this. So this is the TLR HL, and the way that you have it be constant on is going up. At first I thought I would not like that and I'd want to be able to go down for a constant on, but I found as I was drawing and presenting and kind of roll my thumb up here like so, and as I did that I would just catch it on the way and the light would turn on, so that was great. The issue I had with a couple draws was I would go to press up and I'd kind of tap it just to make sure that I had it on all the way so it didn't come down when I let go and turn back off. And if you double tap it, it turns into strobe mode. So there were a couple times I started strobing the target and had to apologize to everyone. Sorry, I'm strobing, sorry. Because it's kind of annoying and strobe isn't really that tactical of a thing anymore. So I did that a couple times. The guy who was sharing my line also did that a couple times from the holster because that kept catching on his holster and actuating the strobe. So that was kind of annoying. But the light did really well otherwise. Plenty of lumens. This is the 1000 lumen model and fit in the holster. No real complaints there. I will be doing, however, in-depth review on this light. I'll be doing an in-depth review on the Surefire X300 UB that I saw a lot in the class, and I will also be doing a comparison video on those two lights, so stay tuned for those. But that's all the gear. It all worked really well. The Orion belt worked really well as well. How redundant. Gear portion over, moving on to final thoughts. Final thoughts. One more bonus tip for you guys who stayed to the very end, and that is mark your mags. I actually did have one time where I did a mag change, dropped the mag, and we're picking up mags, and someone looked, because most guys mark their mags that take classes, and they saw, oh wait, this doesn't look like mine. It's got a little green dot on here, and they'd be like, oh, is this yours? And I said, yes it is. I double checked, yep, that's my mag. So make sure you mark your mag so that if they hit the ground, you get your actual mag back. Here are some things that I learned from the class. One is that you are going to be using your handheld light much more than you're going to be using your weapon mounted light in the class. So keep that in mind. Also, I learned a lot about my gear as far as what worked, what didn't work. I found that most of my gear worked pretty well, and I was really glad that I brought layers of clothing and long johns for this first night, which was low light handgun because it was very cold at night. I learned some new handheld light techniques. I also learned some one-hand shooting techniques, and I can say now that I'm much better at shooting a handgun one-handed than I was prior to this class. I really liked the methods for scanning with a weapon-mounted light and not actually pointing your muzzle at things while you're scanning. That was cool. I was actually surprised with some things as far as using some type of light around cover and concealment, and also how to combat opposing light and still being able to see with light shining at you, because criminals can also buy high-powered flashlights too. The drills were also super fun, and the blind course at the end was a ton of fun. I highly recommend this class to anyone who is, really anyone that carries a handgun, because most violent encounters happen in low light or no light situations, and the gun that you're most likely to have on you is going to be a handgun. That's going to do it for me and the review of MDFI's low light handgun class. If you have any questions, if there's anything that I did not cover in this review that you wanted me to, let me know in the comment section below. If there's any questions on the gear that I ran, comment section below. Be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Subscribe is a big one. I think like 90-something% of the viewers of my videos are not subscribed. So if you could subscribe, that would help a ton. Thank you in advance for that. And for all of my subscribers watching this video, you guys are awesome. And my mom, she's also awesome too. She, I think, is the one female subscriber of this channel. So ladies, this information is for you too. If you'd like to take an MDFI class, trainmdfi.com. The link for this specific class that I reviewed will be in the description below. As a continual disclaimer, they don't pay me anything to do these reviews. I just do them because I really like the classes. I think they're awesome instructors, and I want you guys to be armed with knowledge and training along with all the cool gadgets and gizmos. Thanks again for watching, and as always, stay free